Hi guys, welcome back to Snakes and Adders Introducing Series. Today we're introducing you to the African fire skink. This is a stunning species, and when we start to describe it, I mean, it's impossible to know where to start, from the ebony boax to the golds and bronzes to the brick reds or fire reds and the whites. This thing is stunning. It is truly one of the most attractive skinks available for you to buy. We've listed it as a beginner species, with it being in the Introducing Series. They are hardy, they feed well, they've got a great appetite. As initial imports, they can be sometimes a little defensive, but they will soon learn to be handled and calm down nicely. So the Latin name of this species is Lepidothyris Fernandi. Currently there's 3 recognised species: Lepidothyris Fernandi, this one, which was described by Burton in 1836, hinkeli, which was by Bohme, Pauwels and Schmitz in 2009, and striatus, which was described by Hallowell in 1854. This species actually, Lepidothyris Fernandi, was originally Tiliqua Fernandi, and it was actually placed in with the blue tongues and the shingleback skinks. A lot of changes have taken place since then. As always, these taxonomists can't leave things alone, so they bounce around all over the place, and it has also been listed in Riopa and Lygosoma. Whilst Lepidothyris is obviously it's been reclassified into Lepidothyris, but Lepidothyris is part of Lygosominae, which is a subfamily of skink. They originate from West Africa, and they come from Cameroon right through to Guinea, including Nigeria, Togo, Benin, Ghana and the Cote D'Ivore. Fire skinks are diurnal, and in our husbandry terms that means it must have UVB. In the past we haven't always provided them with UVB, and they've survived for the most part. Generally we dust their foods and we do all the rest of it, but if an animal is listed as diurnal, it is our responsibility to provide it with UVB. Not only that, we know the effect that UVB has on coloration and the way that an animal displays, so a fire skink that is kept underneath UVB will be brighter and more popping with colour. Sadly, this chap is in shed, as Sod's Law would have it. So we've got bits and pieces that shed off, and they're like fish scales, they come off in bits and pieces. So it's 2018, let's move with the times. Husbandry wise, let's get them under UVB. 10 or 12%, they can move away from it. They are burrowers as well, so if they want to get away from the light, they certainly can. Your active temperature range, 34 to 36 degrees Celsius at the hotspot, a 30 degree ambient and a 25 degree Celsius cool end. Night temps at the basking spot, 25 to 27, with a nighttime cool end temperature of 20 to 22. They will require a deep substrate. They'd love to burrow, so maybe we would think about mixing orchid bark, moss, core, sand to create this sort of loose shifting substrate that they can dig and move through with ease. We could also use some leaf litter on top, make it look a bit more naturalistic. You know, there's probably some bits and pieces we can still collect and dry out and use, knocking around in the countryside as we speak at the moment. So a deep substrate, probably 3 or 4 inches deep, that they can really get down into. Because of the depth of the substrate, subterranean heaters aren't actually going to be that useful to us, because we can't get penetrative heat and keep them there. I mean, you could maybe use it as a backup, but it would be worth looking at what your substrate temperatures are running at a subterranean level. As a heater, we potentially, because we need some nighttime cycling as well, we'd either be looking at coloured spots, ceramic bulbs, or a deep heat projector from Arcadia, which is one of the new infrared heaters, which may be one of your best bets, by providing some sort of stone plate for the animal to bask upon underneath the deep heat projector from Arcadia. Their natural diet, they are insectivores, but also, you know, they're recognised in captivity as having quite the appetite and take a range of foods, and that would include egg, salmon, cat food, mice and snails. Obviously the snails of appropriate size. But we would maybe take it easy with some of these other elements, because they're very high in fat, and that over the long term they're not going to do us too much good. But if we've got an imported animal that needs to gain condition, a bit of extra fat, a bit of extra protein isn't going to do us any harm, and it will help us try and add a bit of condition back to the animal quickly. Fire skinks are egg layers, so they will lay eggs and which hatch after 45 to 55 days at 28 to 29 degrees Celsius. This is not a species I've ever bred. The long and short of it is we need more people working with species such as the fire skink, and the complications abound, because definitively sexing any skink is an absolute nightmare. Sexual dimorphism is word that the skink family never heard about. So it's very, very subtle. The females can become quite jowly, similar to a Berber skink, or if we think about maybe the females in the Felsumas, which are the day geckos, and they carry weight in their throats. So I'm not sure, but this may have something to do with calcium sacs, such as with the Felsuma, but I've not read that in any text. So coupled with a slightly shorter snout, this gives the females quite a triangular complexion, whereas the males are generally bigger in all dimensions, both in cranial size, the head size, and body, musculature and build. Overall adult size is around 15 inches, and they just make fabulous lizards to keep. Temperament, mixed. This guy has fallen asleep quite nicely on my hand, but when I initially got it out, wriggled all over the place, put up a hell of a fight. So they're a work in progress, shall we say. As a pet, they are interesting, they're full of personality, they come out and about and they have a look around. Incredibly rewarding species and incredibly attractive, and at the price point that they're usually sold at in the UK, a very affordable pet as well. But I think with modern care and modern husbandry standards, because of their hardiness, we've been willing to sort of not necessarily abuse them, but not give them exactly what they would require. And if we're going to describe something as diurnal, a UV light is absolutely essential, as well as thermostatic control to make sure that the temperatures are correct as well. Every animal should be kept under a thermostat, and we're going to try and give them a nice deep substrate for them to bury in, plenty of hiding spaces, some logs and branches to climb upon, because they are active, and you will have a rewarding, interesting, personality-filled lizard that you can keep as a pet. Keep following us, we will keep adding videos. Visit www.snakesnadders.co.uk to see what we're all about. Cheers guys.